Hey there, folks. Welcome to the Overflow. We are back this week with more of the questions that sadly we were unable to get to on the podcast. My name is Micah Curtis.
And I'm Alex Baldwin, also known as the Hatman.
So let's go ahead and get straight into it. Hatman, do you want to start with politics stuff or entertainment stuff this week?
Let's go entertainment this week.
Alright, sounds like a plan. So the first one comes from, I think, a new viewer on the podcast, nonetheless. The robots are coming for Hatman.
Evidently so. That's weird.
The Ancestor Empire wants to know our thoughts on virtue signaling at the Golden Globes and SAG Awards. I am Micah's lack of surprise.
Yeah,
is sort of my approach to it.
Yeah, no real surprise at all. I mean, this is just what we expect out of Hollywood now.
Yeah, it might as well be just like another platform for the DNC at this point.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
You know, it's the speeches at the Golden Globes are how I imagine is like the same thought process that I have a feeling that Mark Guggenheim goes into creating new villains for X-Men Gold. Trump, Nazi, bad fascist man. Like it's the same regurgitation over and over again. It's always about the most recent virtue signal they can think of, and they consistently do it over and over again, and they think that the American public is not wise to the act at this point. And that last part is what gets me. It's like these folks are so out of touch with the way things are going but in between Los Angeles and New York City that they don't realize that most of America hates them. I mean, this year, there was a trend in films in general, is that there was just a downturn in the market. You know, people in general aren't watching as many movies as they used to in theaters. They're just not doing it. You know, the only films that are really turning a big profit are ones that are Hollywood blockbusters, you know, kind of popcorn films.
Yeah. The ones where people can just zone out and enjoy something.
Yeah.
Instead of having an agenda shoved in their face.
Yeah. Far be it from people wanting to have fun for their money, you know? So, you know, I think that what the virtue signaling of the Golden Globes and SAG Awards is it just continues to show how little Hollywood knows or cares about what matters to middle America, and that they also are completely and totally unaware that middle America is wise to the game at this point. Oddly enough, in supporting a party that is all about hating rich people, the least liked rich people in America are all in Hollywood. That's funny. All right. Holy Ninja wanted to know our thoughts on Dragon Ball Z Kai.
I liked it. If only because the dialogue got updated a bit. But I also kind of didn't like it because I miss Bruce Falconer's music so much.
That's what I was just about to say. Bruce Falconer's music is freaking incredible.
Oh, yes.
You know, I know a lot of people are like, oh,
so
it's
iconic.
Like, people will say these things like, oh, yeah, it was rushed and yada, 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 and you heard it over and over again. I'm like, yeah, it was rushed. He had to do it in like a month's time. And the editing of the show was all done pretty haphazardly at the beginning. With that said, it really fit the mood of a lot of the characters that they were used for. You know, Vegeta's theme, both of his, from when he's just normally giving his rather awesome monologues, or the Super Saiyan theme he has. You know, they had
Final Flash theme.
Yeah, they had certain moods, and they got you prepared for what was happening next. And yeah, overused, sure, I can agree with that. Not ineffective though. If there exists out there like a remade version or a remixed version of Kai that includes some of the older music and the Falconer stuff, I say point me to it. I want to watch it because there was a version of one of the two more recent DBZ films, the one where Beerus shows up, Battle of Gods, that had Falconer's music thrown in there, and it fit very well. But that's because he engineered those themes to go with the character, or at least to my recollection. And oftentimes it works. It's sort of like how, I don't know if you've played these. Have you ever played the old Marvel vs. Capcom games? Like from first Marvel vs. Capcom and gone back to like Marvel Superheroes, X-Men vs. Street Fighter, that sort of stuff?
I just played, I believe, Marvel Superheroes not long ago, but it's been a while since I played Marvel vs. Capcom.
Well, you know how like Captain America's theme or Spider-Man's theme or things like that are so iconic?
Yes.
It's the same. I think it's the same principle. Is strong focus on melody, and something that fits the mood and vibe of the character as a whole can stick with that character forever. I mean, Street Fighter has been using the same character themes for Sagat, Ryu, Zangief, Blanca, Ken, Guile being the most famous. They're still using those themes, but remaking them for every new game. Why? Because it fits the character. So that's why Falconer's music is so beloved. And Team 4-Star, like one criticism that's been levied to them, though DBZ Abridged is great, has been that they don't use the Falconer music very often. But there are some moments where their editor, Kaiser Neko, who I actually had a conversation with back when I worked for Channel Awesome, great guy, we ended up roasting a B movie called Laser Mission on Lord Cat's stream back in the day. But, God, it's been forever since those days. But, like, that was on, like, we did that on Twitch before Twitch was Twitch. It was on Justin TV. But,
oh, yes. Now that's bringing back some memories.
I know, right? So, and sadly the video no longer exists. But anyway, he even had to admit that Falconer's Super Saiyan Vegeta theme is so iconic he couldn't not use it for the final Flash sequence. You just can't. So, and they even brought back something from the German. Have you seen that episode?
I can't say that I have.
Okay, well, you know in the final Flash how Cell says like, "Oh no," or something like that? Or like how he's absolutely shocked? In the German dub of Dragon Ball Z, he goes, "Oh shit!" and they put it in Dragon Ball Z Abridged. So it actually, because he goes, "Oh, how cute," he named it. "Oh shit!" And then he loses half his body. You know, like that. Like it's freaking great. So, but anyway, that's my only criticism of Kai is that they don't include the Falconer music as well. Like everything else is fine. The new voice actor for Frieza is as good, if not better, than the original. So, yeah. Fun fact, by the way, more useless trivia that I know. The Japanese voice actor for Cell is also the Japanese voice actor for M. Bison.
You know, that fits incredibly well.
Yes, it does. So, yeah. All right. Schwarzkopf56 wants to know when I'm going to upload the Exterminatus vid. I'm not uploading it.
It's only for special occasions.
Yeah, I can't do it. Because the main reason that I don't is I don't want other people using it. That's mine, damn it. I mean, not to mention, it's like, it's part of my gimmick. I don't want people just like taking it from me. It's like one thing I actually thought about doing, and I have somebody who could do this for me, is making an authentic replica of the Conqueror's armor in For Honor and wearing it to a convention someday once I finish slimming down. Yeah, I'm still losing weight, but it's going to take some time. I'm still getting adjusted to having a diet. But I would never like tell anyone how I got it, or give the referral of like, because then everybody's gonna have it, and then it's just not special. So yeah, I'm not putting that on my channel. I also didn't put the Jew clip on my channel either. You know, this one. Jew! Just because it's like it's my thing. I want it, and I want it to remain that way. So, all right, Autist Whisperer had 2 for us. He wanted to know our thoughts on Dan Slott moving from Spider-Man to Iron Man. I'm in favor of this.
Oh, you are?
Yes. Here's why. First off, Dan Slott is obviously burnt out on Spider-Man. I don't think that his time on the book was amazing. I would not put him as one of my favorite Spider-Man writers. My favorites are J. Michael Straczynski and David Michelini. You know, and even then, not everything JMS did turn to gold. Just most of it. But Slott is not a bad Spider-Man writer at all. It's just the problem with Slott is that he cares too much about what the fans think, in the sense that if they are critical of something, he will do something to spite them. And I think it's very childish, and it really shows in his work. But when he knuckles down and he writes a good story, he can write some good ones. I thought Spider Island was good. I thought New Ways to Die was good. I actually recently bought that on Comixology because it was on sale. You know, and some of his other shorter stories have been really enjoyable. But the one thing that but he's burnt out. You know, it's like the most recent issues of Spider-Man just have not been good. Meanwhile, you got I think it's like Chip Zdarsky is working on Spectacular Spider-Man, and it's spectacular. It's amazing. It's insert Spider-Man prefix here. So the or adjective, I should say. But he's obviously burnt out, so he needs something new. Second thing is that he is the kind of writer that is really good at accenting one element of comics where Iron Man is the weakest. Hatman, name 10 Iron Man villains that are strictly Iron Man villains.
That are strictly... Oh, Jesus Christ.
It's hard, isn't it?
It's very hard.
See, that's the thing. It's like... let me try it, because I know more about comics than you do, I think. Clearly. Like, off the top of my head, the Mandarin, Obadiah Stane, Zebediah Stane...
Ironmonger.
Yeah, so that's Obi. Obadiah Stane's the Ironmonger.
Yeah, I know.
So you've got... And then his son Zebediah, who was in the Five Nightmares... Then you've got the Crimson Dynamo, and I'm not using all of them, I'm just saying Crimson Dynamo, the Titanium Man, Blizzard, Whiplash, and this is Ghost. And this is where it gets hard, because MODOK is technically an Avengers villain, but I want to say MODOK. And then... Living Laser. Could you have done that as quickly as I did?
No, absolutely.
Yeah,
not.
And that's the thing with most people. I mean, in the Iron Man films, the first one, you have Ironmonger, who is not that well known. Obadiah Stane is, but the Ironmonger, for some reason, people forget it. Second film was Justin Hammer, and technically Whiplash, technically the Titanium Man. So Whiplash.
No, Crimson Dynamo.
But it wasn't Crimson.
It was supposed to be a mix between Whiplash and Crimson Dynamo, because he had the Russian origins.
Yeah, well, so does Titanium Man.
Mm.
But, let's just go with Whiplash. We'll just say Whiplash, because it technically speaking, it makes more sense. Mm-hmm. And then in the third one, it was Advanced Idea Mechanics, which is actually a converted Avengers villain. and it's not even a villain. It's a collective. The main character, Killian, is a minor character from the original Extremis arc.
Mm-hmm.
Like
and then they tried to up him to Mandarin, which was
so forced. Oh God.
Yeah.
Iron Man 3. I watched it again. It is aged like a banana. But anyway, point being is that Dan Slott is a really good villain-oriented writer. And he is very good at giving villains a lot of character and depth. And I think that is something that has largely been missing from the Iron Man comics for a long time. Because it's always Tony, and Rhodey. We really need a shift away from that. You know, especially after Bendis' run and it being so trash. You know, though the infamous Iron Man, the one that stars Doctor Doom, is pretty good. But Invincible Iron Man with Riri Williams, garbage. So
yeah, to say the least.
Iron Man really needs a boost. It needs personal stories. It needs strong villains. And I think that Dan Slott could be the man to do it. Or he could end up just virtue signaling. Like Bendis has done. Because that's all Bendis' Invincible Iron Man has been, is one long virtue signal.
I don't know. I don't like the way Slott has messed with Peter Parker's character on his Spider-Man run. I mean, I don't think he has a whole lot of respect for the Peter Parker that we know, and keeps trying to change what we know about him.
True.
As far as Tony Stark, I don't know. Then again, he's gone through some major changes just in the last decade alone. So
yeah.
I don't know. I'm wary, but I think that's because of my dislike for Dan Slott.
Yeah, well, that's understandable. Right now, my question for Marvel is Jonathan Hickman when? I'm serious. Like, he's the best writer they've had in the last 10 years. When are they bringing him on? Because if they don't, Hickman is just going to stay in the indies, or DC is going to offer him a really lucrative contract for exclusivity, which they're starting to do more and more. And that's scary when you think about it. They've got Tom King as an exclusive. They've got Bendis as an exclusive. You know, I'm surprised. It wouldn't surprise me. Well, it wouldn't surprise me if they got Christopher Priest as an exclusive. That would be a really big coup. Lord. So, Marvel, as a shout out to Mim Headroom, I'm going to steal his term, the Yoshida Shogunate, as we will be, as it's called now. But Marvel really needs to look and say, who are the writers that are out there that aren't really doing anything, that are amazingly talented? We need to get them on. Because right now, the best writers that Marvel has aren't necessarily putting out their best constantly. I think that right now, like, their number one guy is Mike Costa, easily, because he's doing Venom. He's doing a great job with Venom. Cullen Bunn is putting out some good stuff. Oddly enough, one of those things was Venomverse. And I can't really think of, like, any other writers that are working for them right now that I'm like, that's somebody to look at in the near future. So, alright, thoughts on EA aligning itself with feminist groups. Is it a way to obfuscate criticism towards their games or hide their bad practices? Yes.
Absolutely.
I don't think that I could see it any other way. They're trying desperately to get good PR. This is not the right horse to back.
Yeah. I mean, and who's going to give them that kind of benefit of the doubt anyway?
Nobody.
The gaming press. The gaming press will. Because they're all over that mess. They're the ones that care the most about this sort of virtue signaling.
Yeah. And
nobody else does. Your average consumer doesn't.
Yeah, well, that's the biggest problem, is the average consumer doesn't give a shit. Feminists don't play video games. I mean, just like, here's something hilarious. Anita Sarkeesian is still trying to say that there is no way to see Batman's hind end in the Arkham games. You don't know how you can do it? Press the B button. It's his cape stun. It's almost as if while he motions, he lifts his cape and hits somebody in the face with it, exposing his entire back. Feminists don't play video games at all.
Especially Anita Sarkeesian.
Especially her. Like, that's... At this point, it's so stupid. Just make the good video games. This is the one mistake that corporations have this bad tendency to make, is they think if they get in the good graces of the press, that it's gonna help them out. But everybody hates the press. Like, the consumer should be your prime concern. All right, on to politics. Michael Marshall wants to know, how do you feel about the potential privatization of the police force? I think it's a bad idea.
That's a terrible idea.
Technically, I mean, and I'm saying this as someone who is in private security. That is my job. For 40 hours a week, that is what I do. I am, on the certain properties here in this town. I'm the guy in charge when it comes to enforcing rules. That is what I do. I protect places for a profession. There is no feasible way that a privatized police force would be a good idea. Because you got to keep in mind, I am a contractor. My loyalty is, who I listen to first is my company. And then the company I'm contracted to, and then their employees. So it goes in that manner. That is not a good way to run a police force. It's good for private property to keep people away from it. Because what I am is a deterrent. But the difference is the police are there to serve the public trust. Meaning that their whole goal is to protect your rights from being infringed, and if your rights are infringed, to catch the person who infringed them so they can be thrown in jail. None of that is a profitable idea. And that's the thing. That's what businesses work for. I don't necessarily want a police force that is solely devoted to the almighty dollar. It's called a service for a reason. A public service. It's because there is a sacrifice that is a part of it. Because, again, serving the public trust, it doesn't bring in the bacon. There are cops I know that make less than private security guards. But the service that they put forward helps the entire, just everyone. I know that's the whole ANCAP dream of having privatized police, but whoever has the biggest dollar amount to spend on their security force is going to be the person in charge. It's a nightmare. There needs to be someone who is technically just for the citizen. If you're privatized, you have certain priorities to who pays you the most, not to every single person regardless of their background.
I wonder if this question came as a result of our talk about RoboCop.
It's
because
possible.
that movie is a prime example of why we do not need to privatize the police.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Autist Whisperer had a couple of politics questions for us. I know you're from the U.S., but what are your thoughts on the UK Labour Party charging white people more to attend their conference?
Oh my God, are you kidding
Deep.
me?
Nope. It actually happened. Jeremy Corbyn did this.
Well, what do you expect?
Jeremy Corbyn's a Marxist, culturally and economically.
Corbyn the commie.
When it comes, I'm not surprised. That's the worst part. It's like, but you're white, Jeremy. I'm pretty sure he's as pale as I am.
The Labor voters are okay with this, though.
I doubt they're going to be for long.
I mean, I'm sure the millennials are.
Well, of course.
Because, dear God, that's what they've been brought up to believe. White people are evil. You pay more. That's hell. They'll probably blow it off as reparations.
Probably. But
that's
it doesn't surprise me at all. I think that this is where leftist politics are going. Is that to them it does matter what skin color you are. And that's a distressing rabbit hole to go down. But they're going to do it, and they're going to end up really right where they started. So, on their head be it. The real question is whether or not Theresa May and the Conservatives in Britain are actually going to pounce on this sort of thing. My thought is they're probably too polite. They're too worried about fox hunting. He also asked, the Young Turks posted a video on the rise of right-wing violence. Any truth to it? Not really.
It's the Young Turks. You take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, I watched it, and it's like they didn't really have like much to say, and I'm like, where there was nothing sourced. I'm like, what like what rise? There is no rise in right wing violence. Like, it's a waste of time. But that's the Young Turks for you. So, Kirby Boy had a couple. Our thoughts on Dave Rubin. I think he's a good interviewer.
I have not seen enough of his stuff to know. Or maybe I've seen some of his stuff before and I just can't remember. Thus, I probably haven't seen enough of his stuff. I'm a disappointment, I know.
Yes. But people are... I've had people like over the last year saying like, Ruben should have you on. I'm like, it's not going to happen yet. Not until I hit the 100,000 subscriber mark. I'm sorry, I don't think people are going to pay that much attention to me until that point. So, only 84,000 more to go. So, but yeah, I like his stuff. I think that he's had some interesting discussions, though the Candace Owens Blair White thing was pure cancer. It was hilarious. Oh, the internet. The internet is no longer for porn. The internet is now for verbal blood sports.
Oh, God.
Oh my God. It's hilarious. And people wonder why I don't network that much. That's why. I'm very selective about the people I talk to. Because you never know when somebody's going to become a lol cow, and as they get thrown into the proverbial Hudson River, that you're going to be chained by the ankle to them as they sink. So, I would rather have this last a long time, because this is fun. Since we mentioned the worst presidents, who are the best of all time? We'll just go one for each of us. You go ahead and start off.
Washington is my number one.
And Abraham Lincoln is mine. It's almost like my beard gives it away. I am a huge fan of Abraham Lincoln. I used to have the Gettysburg Address memorized.
Hey, so did I. Had to do that for... Well, no, I didn't have to do that for high school. I chose to do it for high school.
Yeah, the same here. It was for a speech class. They said that they wanted us to memorize a famous speech, and I just did that one because it's actually not that long.
No, it's really not.
So
very, very short.
It's funny. The funny story about that class is that somebody said they had "I Have a Dream" memorized, and they botched it.
Ooh.
And I was actually sitting, because I watched that speech so many times, I was actually sitting in my desk and actually mouthing the proper words to them whenever they would fuck it up. Because it's like, the person was like, "Let liberty ring." I'm like, "Let freedom ring. Let freedom ring from every mountainside." It's like, geez.
Let liberty ring? Lord. That's one of the easier lines.
I know. I thought it was ridiculous. It was bad. But anyway, final question from Brian Gilmartin. Thoughts on Fox News? Tucker Carlson makes great faces.
That he does. He does.
I don't know what else to say about them. I mean,
I don't either. Except they're
less likely to talk about Russia constantly.
Well, yeah. I mean, they're the right wing station.
Yeah.
That's about all I can say. They're the conservative network, and MSDNC, as we call it, CNN are the leftist ones. So that's about it. That's about all I can really say.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot. Although, what's his name? Waters.
Mm-hmm.
What's his first name? I forget.
Brian, I think.
No, I don't think so. Is it?
Is
it Jesse Waters?
Oh, right, yeah, Jesse Waters.
There you go. He's hilarious. I think he's hilarious, and the material that he does going to college campuses is it's great.
Yeah. Like, personally, my favorite Fox moment is just, or at least was, Tucker Carlson versus Tariq Nasheed.
Oh my god!
He flat out says to him, "Tariq, no one takes you seriously." I'm like, thank you for saying that, because it's so freaking true. And then he's also technically responsible for the destruction of Kurt Eichenwald's career at this point.
Oh my god!
Or some people have called him on Twitter, Kurt Etchewald.
Well, they're not that far off.
No, they're not. Oh God, how do I put this? There have been some pretty good destructions of people on Fox News before, and if nothing else, it is entertaining at points. So, other than that, I mean, if there's something going on and you're seeing it on Fox News, you're probably not going to see it reported on MSDNC or the Cuck News Network. That was hilarious.
Oh yes. For those of you who don't tune into our Twitter feeds, which should be all of you, go right now at Mind of Micah C and at the Hat 2.
Yes.
We found an article early this morning. CNN literally and unironically is promoting cuckolding. Cuckolding can be positive for some couples, study says. Way to go, CNN. Really living up to that name.
So, when did Peter Coffin start writing for them?
Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. I'm gonna die.
When are we gonna see the Steve Shives show? And it's just a black screen for most of America because he's blocked you from watching it.
Oh, Lord. I have to change the name of it from the Steve Shives show to the Thinky Man's Fetish. Oh, my God.
Actually, here's the real pertinent question. Since when did Jim Sterling get a job at CNN?
Oh, God. Surprised he could get through the damn door.
I know, right? All right. Well, that's all we had from what we got in the list here. So, other than that, I really don't have much else to say. I kind of am monologued out from yesterday. But, if you, of course, for those of you playing the home game, if you have a question for us, please don't hesitate to give it to us during the podcasts, during the Q&A time. Hopefully at some point I'm going to have the time to do like a call-in live stream where we'll let people like come on and just talk like freeform at some point. We did that when I was in Kansas last year. So hopefully we'll get the chance to do it again. But regardless, we'll be back next week with more fun stuff. But until that time, my name is Micah Curtis.
And I'm Alex Baldwin, also known as the Hat Man.
We'll see you guys next week. Deus
Volt.